Welcome back to the channel, guys. I had the opportunity to go out to a local fall festival here in Colorado with my family, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to bring the DJI Action 4 and show you guys how to grade the D-Log M footage that this camera can shoot. If you're not shooting 10-bit on the DJI Action 4, you're definitely missing out. You get a lot more detail in the colors, and you can do some cool things with the grading. Everything else in this video was shot using all auto settings, so auto white balance, auto exposure. The only setting that I changed was I put it into Pro mode and am shooting with the DJI M-Log profile. So let's just jump right into it. As you can see here, I've got all my footage imported into the timeline. This is a cool shot of my son running around playing the laser tag, really neat. This is a cool shot of my daughter and my wife climbing this cool hay bale castle. So let's jump over to the color panel, and the first thing that you might think to do when you're grading this footage is to create a new node and do like you have done with other footage, which would be to add a color space transform. So we'll go ahead and do the drop down here, and we will notice that there's no DJI D-Log M profile for the input color space. So maybe you can think, okay, I'll use the DJI D-Gamut. Okay, so that's done a little something. And then the input gamma, maybe we can do DJI D-Log. Okay, that's really bad. So that obviously is not a choice. Maybe you can do something like the S-Log because DJI uses Sony sensors. Not great. Okay, so this is not the route that you want to go when you're grading this footage. So we'll go ahead and delete this node, and I really hope that you're not trying to go this route using the curves to grade this, because that's really bad. So the proper way to do this kind of footage is not with the color space transform, which is unfortunate. I wish DJI would work with Blackmagic to get that sorted out. What you're going to need to do is go over to DJI's website, and you're going to download the DJI Osmo Action 4 D-Log M to Rec 709 video LUT. And once you have that downloaded, you'll import it into your LUTs panel here, which I've already got it here. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and say apply LUT to current node, and that gets us much closer to where we need to be. So you can see that added that LUT on there, so I'm going to go ahead and label this node as DJI LUT. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, similar to the iPhone grading video, I'm going to create a new node called image, and then another node called white balance, and then a final node called color. Now, as always, you can go ahead and make this a lot more complicated for grading, but this is just a very simple starting point. So once we have all of these nodes created, the first thing I'm going to do is go into image, and I'm denoting image as being the spot where you can do all of your brightness settings and your gamma and lift and things like that, shadows, etc. So the first thing I'll do is go over to the waveform, and I'll see that we have some clipping here from the sun, but everything else is pretty low. So what I'll do is just kind of boost the shadows up a little bit, and then I will give it just a touch of contrast, maybe just a little bit. Now we'll move on to the white balance, and for the white balance we'll go over to the vector scope, and we'll see that everything is pretty neutral, but this is a fall scene. So what I want to do is add a little bit of orange kind of fallish colors in here. So I'm going to adjust the white balance here a touch, but then I'm also going to use the offset to kind of bring up some of the orange overall colors. And then finally, I'm going to go to the RGB mixer, and I'm going to take the reds and increase the reds just a hair. So now you can see, if you watch the vector scope, we'll do, actually, that's a little too much. Bring the reds up just a hair. So if you can see the vector scope, we're shifting everything to the top left towards the yellows and reds. And then finally, I'm going to go to the colors, and I'm going to go over to the hue versus hue, and I'm going to start adjusting the color of the sky. Now you can use your qualifier to pick that color, but if you'll notice when I select that down here in the bottom right hand in the color curves panel, the points are very close together, and we don't want that. We want them to be nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust those up, and then I might do the exact same thing over here in the reds. Just very slight movement. Actually, we'll move that over to the yellows, and we'll keep the reds down. Just very slight. And then the next thing is I'm going to go to the hue versus saturation, and I'm going to pick a point using the automatic qualifiers down here so that I can boost the color of the sky. And then I'm also going to boost the reds. So there we go. And so far that is looking pretty good, except for the fact that the action camera is like totally blowing out the sun, but it was an extremely bright day, so there's not much you can do about it. So now I'm going to grab a still, head over to my gallery, and I'm gonna see about doing this same grade on this shot. And you can see instantly here how much better this shot has gotten from any other way that you can grade this footage. And it's actually pretty amazing because the video quality on the Action 4 is way better than any of the GoPros or Insta360s and things like that that I've used. Really fantastic color. So I hope that really helped you guys. If it did, please let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you on the next quick DaVinci Resolve tutorial video.